Hey guys, Mustang here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so the final one of the sub-EZAs that we're going to showcase here from the set of units that came out on Friday is the INT, TOPPO and Pride Troopers. Now, this unit is definitely going to be very, very useful if you are somebody who pulled TOPPO and are running his team. I did not, so we've put a team together to showcase this guy. His only 200% leaders in the game are the INT, TOP androids and TOPPO. So I'm running the Tournament of Power android leads and then a TOPPO friend so that we can get the full 200 for him and still have some units to run him with, because these guys want to be run with other Universe 11 allies, right? So their super attack, raise attack and defense for 1 turn, supreme damage to the enemy, and greatly lowers attack and defense. So the attack lower obviously can be very useful in some events now. Passive is attack and defense 110. Additional attack and defense 110 when there are 3 or more Universe 11 allies on the team. So we've got Tech Jiren, we've got the STR Dispo, obviously the friend physical TOPPO, and it doesn't say self-excluded, so it does count these guys as well. Then they get an additional attack and defense 110% when performing a super attack, and guard all attacks when there is another Universe 11 ally attacking in the same turn. They get a crit when all allies in the turn are Universe 11 or Special Pose, and then they give Universe 11 or Special Pose characters 3 key, attack and defense 50%, and chance to crit 11%. So we got pretty unlucky with our starting rotations. If the physical TOPPO had been the INT TOPPO, we would have had these guys on turn 1 with Dispo, which would have been a pretty good turn, but unfortunately we don't. So we're going to take the risk of keeping him in slot 1 here, because we can see that the super is in slot 3. UI Goku first turn obviously is going to have 100% chance to dodge. So these guys, 308k start of turn. Now obviously if we had a Universe 11 ally on rotation with them, we would also have guard, so that would be pretty decent. But yeah, 49k, I mean, not the best, but 3.1. They're not getting that 110% buff on attacking because we don't have the Universe 11 ally on the rotation. Plus, I think they only share 2 links with the TOP androids, so it's definitely not the best first turn for them, but obviously we can see like a very low level baseline for what these guys can look like if you get a bad starting rotation. Obviously, if you're running the TOPPO team, you're more likely to have a Universe 11 character on rotation with them, because of course, you know, my leader is the TOP androids for this team because I don't have TOPPO. If I did have him, that would have been him on rotation here with these guys. And TOPPO can be a solid slot 1 unit. These guys next to him will share a ton of links, be giving him a ton of support. So ideally I want to get these guys all set up on the same turn. So I don't want to put you in slot 1. Jiren, yeah, Jiren has damage reduction on the first turn, so we'll go ahead and do this. Slowly but surely get all the Universe 11 characters migrated over to the other rotation. Because I could have floated off, I could have just floated off the INT TOPPO unit, but since they're the showcase unit, I didn't really want to float them off on their first turn, which was turn 2, and then not have them back until turn 5. So it is what it is. We'll get the rotations set up here. UI Goku's basically just on the team to be the slot 1 unit on the other rotation, because the physical TOPPO can handle being in slot 1 on the rotation with the INT Pride Troopers unit. So 10 mil. This is a guest friend TOPPO that has 1 dupe. So TOPPO definitely is a very solid unit, but it's just unfortunate timing for him with his release and everything. So here you can see linked up with Dispo, we have Signature Pose, we have Hero of Justice. Hero of Justice is a really good attack link. Signature Pose gives a little bit of attack and extra key, which we don't really need on this turn. But we're at 300k start of turn here. I'm going to leave all of these blue orbs so that we can get the orbs with the TOP androids here. Or we get the physical ones, I guess. Get their 7 orbs that gives everybody a buff. And then of course TOPPO is going to have guard and the extra stats when attacking here. Now the only downside of course is the start of turn stats aren't super great, so even with guard, like obviously you can see we still take damage. I think these guys best roll, yeah, see they're up to 8.7 now. These guys best roll is going to be next to TOPPO, like in slot 2. Because not only are they providing him a ton of support, but post-super their defense will be pretty decent with guard. They share a link with TOPPO, I believe. They share the Tough as Nails link with him, which gives a little bit of damage reduction as well. So that rotation should be pretty good. We obviously don't have the full Universe 11 rotation here, so we don't get the guaranteed crits. But he is here pretty much to be like a support unit, make the other Universe 11 units, especially the physical Toppo, look good. So it's we're not really concerned about their damage overall, but they can still do a decent bit of damage. So take out Super Saiyan Goku here. This is why I like to run this stage though, because it takes quite a while to, once we get to the AGL UI Goku, the fight kind of slows down quite a bit now, since only tech units can really do damage to him. I mean, Jiren will give him a good hit at the end of the turn, but then we're floating him off. So, oh nice. Good slot 1 dodging there, UI Goku, good. Brought you on the team to be the slot 1 unit, 77% chance to dodge, and doesn't dodge twice in a row. You love to see that. Each dodge gives him the higher dodge chance as well. The annoying thing is if he's like MVP 17 could tank a normal but not a super, so hopefully he doesn't get supered here. Okay, good. Well, that was close. Good old UI Goku. The UI Goku curse lives on. 77% chance to dodge the AGL one has. And we took both those attacks in slot 1. Crazy. Take Jiren, of course, getting the additional. And then we finally have these guys together. And we can transform Toppo now. So this is going to be a very good turn for him. Unfortunately, the friend very low links, low level links. But yeah, tough as nails at level 10. 20% defense and 5% damage reduction. But I mean, even the 20% defense is obviously very good. So these guys would be starting the turn now at 370. They get 110% on super and then have guard. And obviously at full level 10 links, that tough as nails, well, they have theirs at level 10. So tough as nails is giving him the 5% damage reduction, which is very nice. So transform Toppo here. Although, what is the link that he... Because his links do change, don't they? Or do they? No, they don't at all. Okay, well, there you go. So, I wasn't sure if he would be losing... Does he not lose a link to get Godly Power? Am I just misremembering this completely? Yeah, no, Godly Power and Solid Support. It's just because they're not green on the normal one. So yeah, they lose... oh yeah, he loses Hero of Justice, which we're getting from Dispo. That's why I didn't realise, because yeah, it's still active, but it's because we're getting it from Dispo. Alright, so yeah, 318 start of turn defense here. So we'll do this. Grab the AGL orbs for you. What's Dispo's start of turn defense here? 100, not a lot, so I'm not exactly going to get a crazy heal off of these orbs. But Toppo, of course, has ridiculous damage reduction. Getting the dodges is good because it means he doesn't lose any damage reduction. And then he's at 11.6. This is a 1 dupe Toppo with, as you saw, fairly low level links. Damn, he's getting them dodges. And then, yeah, the Toppo Pride Troopers, 8.2. I mean, for a unit that's providing a very large amount of support to everybody on the rotation, it's pretty good. Because then we have guard, like around 600k defense. I mean, the problem is, of course, as with all of these sub-EZAs, I feel like this is a common theme that we've mentioned in pretty much all of these showcases for all of these sub-EZAs that came out Friday, is that some of them have enough in terms of defensive ability to tank normals. Like these guys would tank most normals in the game with 600 to 700k defense and guard. If Tough as Nails is active for the 5% damage reduction, they'll be tanking most normals. But obviously they're not going to be tanking super attacks particularly well. So I guess we could just go ahead and do this. Leave those guys in slot 3 and then potentially just get the UI Goku revival. Let's see what happens here. I mean, yeah, I was going to say UI Goku might just not dodge in slot 1 again, but yeah, these guys definitely seem tailor-made for the Toppo team. Makes sense, of course, with the EZAs coming out with his release, both originally on JP and now for Global. They'd definitely be a very solid addition to his team. But I think if you're someone who is in the position that I am, like, you know, I've got LR Jiren, I've got that Dispo, but like realistically in the game currently, until we get LR Jiren come out as well, and there's not a lot of other Universe 11 characters that are really worth running. And if you're running a Universe Survival Saga team that is largely weighted towards like the reps of Universe 7 characters, there's not really a lot of these relevant Universe 11 characters that you would run on the team instead of them, right? Like I'm not going to be running LR Jiren and then having this int dispo with it, int topo with him for the extra support and everything, if it means on my go-to reps of Universe 7 or Universe Survival Saga team I'm taking off like Freezer and 17 or something, right? So right, so we don't have Hero of Justice because Jiren doesn't have it, or Signature Pose, but we are at 430 start of turn here. We got the support from the androids carrying over as well. Now, of course, the interesting thing is on kind of a mixed Universe Survival Saga team, because these guys, the PHY Troopers, are all superclass, because even though they fight the Universe 7 guys, right, they are all superclass. These guys would be getting the buff if you use Tech UI Goku's Domain. So if you had a team build that was kind of a cross between the two, you know, they would get buffed by his domain, and that would be a pretty solid setup here. We'll see what the TOPPO and, well, the TOPPO pairing and then Jiren here in slot 3. Jiren getting the support from these guys is big as well. So definitely a solid rotation. All the allies are Universe 11 now, so the int TOPPO PHY Troopers do get their buff for the guaranteed crits. And what are they dropping here? 6.7. Yeah, I mean, obviously damage is not, as we said, their forte, because they're on the team to be a support unit. So I wouldn't be expecting crazy high damage. Their super attack effect is definitely useful. I haven't actually given mine any skill orbs, because this is a unit that, of course, pre-EZA I basically never used. So I think the best build for them is probably going to be a mix of additional and dodge, because as I say, like even with the guard, they'll tank most normals but not necessarily all from the hardest hitting bosses, and then of course they are not going to tank super attacks, so you want to be careful when it comes to when it comes to their build. You pretty much have to decide your preference when it comes to those kind of units. It's like, do you want to try and get the additional to get the extra stack of the super attack effect, the potential extra attack lower, and like a little bit of extra damage, or do you more so want them to dodge any of these harder hits that are going to do damage to them? Because obviously on the rotation with physical TOPPO can do a lot of damage, especially with their support. But obviously if you're going into like a new phase, like if you're going into the final phase against Beast in the blue zone or something, you're not going to one-turn him with the double TOPPO combo. And then of course, you know, they do have guard, but they're a unit that if they get locked in slot 1 in any of these bosses that do have the rotation locking, they're not going to tank super well in slot 1, because guard is all well and good, but when you're only starting the turn with like 200 to 300k defense, they probably are still taking normals, taking damage from normals from events like the final phase of Beast Gohan. And of course we know that he likes to super attack in slot 1 a lot, so it would certainly be very risky. They're a character that, like, if you have the full optimal TOPPO, like Universe 11 with some signature pose kind of like build, I would probably have them as like maybe a floating unit on that team. Because whilst they do link really well with TOPPO and are obviously giving him that big support, if you're running double TOPPO and a bunch of these other characters that they are providing the support to, you probably are going to want them floating to take full advantage of that. And of course it gives you less situations where they end up eating a super attack to the face potentially. So TOPPO should finish them off here. We get to see the full advantage of the support. We should get, yep, 7 orbs there for you as well. This should be a good turn for the physical TOPPO. Friend 1 has one dupe and clearly just went full dodge with the bottom right and then skill orbs. Best build for TOPPO though, full dodge. So every time he gets hit, he loses 8% of his 80% damage reduction. So every time he dodges, not only are you taking no damage, but you're not losing any of that damage reduction. So if you have a turn where, if he takes 3 normals and then a super, he's lost 24% of his damage reduction and then he eats the super. If you dodge those 3 normals and then he just doesn't dodge the super, he hasn't lost that extra 24% of his damage reduction. So if he's coming in fresh from transforming, he still has 80%. He's going to be tanking most of the super attacks in the game, especially post super when he's got all that extra defense. So best build for TOPPO, definitely full dodge, because obviously once he transforms as well and you use his active skill, From that point onwards, he gets guaranteed crits for the rest of the fight. So if you've given him any crit in his hidden potential at all, as soon as you use his active skill, like, you've basically wasted his hidden potential, because at that point he just has a 100% chance to crit anyway. So dodge definitely works really, really well with him to maintain that damage reduction. And then, yeah, this setup, I mean, obviously, as I said at the beginning, this team is a bit more of a janky setup because I don't have the physical TOPPO. At least I have, like, the STR Dispo, who is very good. The Jiren EZA is pretty solid, but he really needs this team to be fully set up for it to be his best team. And, of course, the AGL Jiren releasing is going to be a massive buff to him as well. I feel like because AGL Jiren doesn't want to be a slot 1 unit, and Tech Jiren can't really be a slot 1 unit, maybe on the first turn where he has that damage reduction. So he probably ends up being a floating unit on the team. I guess the team could be like both rotations be a physical TOPPO. One of them you would have LR Jiren in slot 2. The other one you could have the TOPPO Pride Troopers or Dispo, and then just be floating Jiren, the other one of the TOPPO Pride Troopers or Dispo, whichever one you're not keeping on rotation. And then that setup would be pretty good. So maybe I'll get lucky. We did the weekend ticket summon yesterday during the World Tournament Subathon. Shout out to everyone that came out for that. We hit all the goals, went for like the full 8 hours World Tournament grind. Managed to take over my #1 local, even though I started off the stream, or started off the day, over 30 wins behind the person who was at #1. But yeah, the weekend tickets, I got INT Hit, who is a featured unit, but yeah, I'm not going to be doing any more summons on TOPPO's banner, so hopefully the weekend tickets for next weekend or the weekend after, because we only get 3 sets in total, and we've had the 1 now. Hopefully those will come in clutch for me, but I guess we will have to wait and see. So let me know what you guys think down below of the TOPPO Pride Troopers. You can see here we took 37k from this Goku super attack, which, I mean, he's not the hardest hitting boss by any stretch, but obviously that's barely any damage when you consider how much HP the team has and everything. So yeah, the INT Pride Troopers pretty good, but they are very much wanting to be run on this TOPPO team because they need those Universe 11 allies. Even though you can run them under the TOP androids, it kind of makes the team building a little bit more difficult because you want to have the 3 Universe 11 allies. A mix of the Universe 11 and reps of Universe 17 can obviously still be very good, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you pulled TOPPO, have you tried these guys out on his team? Let me know all of your thoughts down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.